Hello people, hello guys, and welcome back to Discover with Pharrell. This is Pharrell here, and today we are doing this video outside here. I'm actually here on my patio, and summer is here with us, and it's good to just have some good air, some fresh air. So today, in this video, I'm gonna talk about getting your first car in America. Like it's quite different maybe from other countries because some like I said, some of these in my previous video I was comparing Europe and America and Africa. And because like some of the cities here in America, we don't have a lot of like public transport. It's there in major cities, but sometimes don't have a lot of buses, they don't have a lot of trains, so that means you need a car. And I said once again that having a car is not luxurious. Like you need it to go work, to go to your groceries, just to visit friends. You need a mode of transport. And I think using Uber is quite expensive because if you're working and maybe you're paying $40 to go somewhere in the morning and then you're paying another $40 at night, that means that's like $80. So what are you working for? So it can be extremely expensive if you're doing that, because personally I have used Uber maybe to go to work. Maybe my car had some problems or such kind of things, and it was not worth it, right? Because you're working, all your money is going to Uber. So that means the best option is to do what? Is to own your own car. And it's quite simple, actually. It's very simple. And you don't have to make it complicated. And so in this video I'm going to talk about the ways to get your first car. So let's dive into it. And please, if you've not subscribed, please do so. I'm giving you 1 minute to do that. Yeah, so guys, welcome back again. When you get to America, like I said, you need a car. And when you have everything that you need, all the documentation, you need to get a driver's license. So that means if you don't know how to drive, you're gonna have to train on how to drive. So if you're coming from another country, you know how to drive, you're gonna go for a test, and they're gonna give you a permit, and then go for a road test, do the online examination, and then if you pass, you're gonna get your license. If you don't know how to drive at all, you need to get somebody to show you how to drive. Somebody who has been driving for the last 1 year in your state, at least in the state that I'm living in. And then they're gonna have to train you how to drive. And then you're gonna go in for a road test, for the online examinations and stuff. And so that's the first thing to do. So if you don't know how to drive, don't worry. You can either be trained by a friend, by your family members, or you can actually enroll into a driving schools. I think here in America, like here in Georgia, we don't have a lot of like driving schools. Not like compared to Kenya, because in Kenya you have to go to a driving school so that you can be given a license, right? And so speaking about myself, what did I do? I knew how to drive in Kenya, right? I knew how to drive in Kenya. But like in Kenya, we keep left. In America, we keep right. So I had to just go back to class. And so I had somebody who trained me for like, a few days just to get used to the roads, just to get used to the right side. Mind you, I had not driven in Kenya. So this was my first time like really, really driving in America. And so we did that. And so I went in for the test, like the online test, the road signs, because I had a book that was reading the road signs, rules and regulations and everything, the laws. And guess what? I failed. I think the pass mark was like, I think 80, and I got a 70 something. So I failed one of the tests, and I had to repeat it. I came the next day, we did the test again, and I passed. So we booked now the road test. The road test, I think I was so nervous, and at one point, so when I got into I think the most difficult thing to do when you're doing, when you're training how to drive is to parallel park, parallel parking. So, but I passed that one. But now when we were getting now outside, the test center to the road, I think we have a stop sign. In a stop sign, you have to wait for like a few seconds. So I didn't wait. I didn't signal where I was going just because I was so nervous. And the person, the instructor told me like, please, can you relax, relax, relax. So I didn't look both sides before I went, so I failed. I felt so bad. We went the next day and I passed, right? So they just told me I was so nervous that I know what I'm doing. But of course, when you're doing a thing like it's your first time driving it there, you're so nervous, you're so afraid that you're gonna fail. Sometimes all those butterflies, they make you fail. So I failed, and then I went the next day, but I passed, and I was given my license, right? So before you get your license, so when we were doing the training and everything on the road, they had given me a permit. So you just go there and apply for a permit, right? So when you're driving with a permit, you have to have somebody else who is driving with you, somebody who has driven for at least 1 year in Georgia. And so they asked for my permit, they destroyed it, and then they gave me my license right there and then. I think I paid like $20, and I started driving that moment. And so how do you get a car here? Like, how do you get a car to get you around? I would say that the first thing you need to know is what type of car do you want, right? How much money do you have in your pocket? How much money can you afford, right? Do you want to buy a cash car, or do you want to have a car note? Like just go to a dealership and be given a car, just make a deposit and just a down payment and just get a car. So it depends on how much you have. But I would advise people, like when you're buying a car, your first car, just consider many things. Where you're going to work, the distance you're going, what you'll be using this car for. Are you in a city where you can access buses, you can access trains? That will determine what type of car you need, right? But here, like, we have something we call mileage. So we sometimes we look at the mileage of the car before you buy it. You don't want to buy a car that has a lot of mileage, because the lifetime, it will not stay for a very long time, right? So when you're buying your first car, I think I would advise a person, like, buy something affordable, buy something that you can be able to pay on a shorter period of time, because maybe after you get more money, you're gonna get an upgrade and you can buy a better car. So whatever is at your disposal, maybe you can have a car of like 3,000, and provided your mechanic checks the car and they give it a clean bill of health. If maybe your car costs like 4,000, 5,000, it's good to start with, right? And of course, if you don't have that kind of money, if you cannot pay that car with cash money, you can just go to a dealership and maybe you have 1,000, you make a down payment, and then you'll be paying maybe weekly or monthly, depending on how you talk with the dealership, right? So that's the first thing to do. You can either go to a dealership with cash money and buy a car. You can either have a contract with them and have a car note. That means you'll be paying something every month, right? So that's the first thing to do. And then after you buy your car, of course, you need insurance, right? So you need to go hunt for insurance companies, know the best rates, know those kind of things. And one thing for sure, if you're looking for insurance, if you have family here, they can actually add you to their insurance, and that way it will be very, very very cheaper for you than paying alone, right? So, for example, if you are like a teenager, and you are looking for insurance, your rate will be higher, because they say maybe teenagers get into they have a higher risk of getting into accidents and everything. So that means your rate will be higher. But if you're a teenager and maybe you're taking insurance with your parents, that means you have a lower rate, right? You'll be paying less money. So even if you're not a teenager like me, I came here when I was 28 years, and maybe I'm taking the insurance with maybe other people, friends or relatives, the rate will be lower. But if I go ahead and take insurance alone, I'll be having a very higher rate. So it's good for somebody else to put you in their insurance so that you can save on money. Maybe that's something so many people don't know about, right? And so after you do your insurance thing and everything is good, then you're good to go, right? And of course, every year you have your car checked, emissions and everything, your tags and everything. So now, when it comes to buying a car, I propose, or this would be my own opinion. Like, you can either go to a dealership and have a contract with them. They give you a car, and then you'll be paying them monthly. Or alternatively, you can just go to a bank. Just go to your bank because you get a loan from your bank, right? You get a loan from your bank. So when you get a loan from your bank and you tell them you are financing a car, they'll give you maybe at a better rate. So your bank will give you a loan. They give you cash money, and then you take the cash money to your dealership and pay cash. So you don't have anything to deal with the dealership. All you have to deal with is with your bank. So you'll be paying a certain amount of fee to your bank instead of the dealership. And so that is a better way to do it. And for me, because I've done it before, that is good. So what happens? The bank stays with your car title, the title, until you finish the payment. And then after you finish paying, then they'll give you back the title, your ownership, right? And I think at some point you can just go back and refinance your loan, because if you have good credit, you can still lower your rates, your APR, right? And so I'm going to talk about credit in my next video. Make sure you watch it, because credit is very important when you're getting loans. Your credit scores, if I'm going to talk about that in the next video. So you have two options: either go to a dealership, get a car there, or either go to a bank, get a loan and pay cash, and then be paying the bank. Either way, whatever you're comfortable with, you can do that. But like I said, having a vehicle is very important, and it's a way of making sure that you are free. You can go anywhere that you want. You're not using a lot of money using Uber and stuff. And here, because everybody is busy, you're not inconveniencing anybody, because everybody is busy working. So you cannot just wait on someone to just come out of work and then they come pick you up from work or whatever. It's so tiring. Sometimes it's very unfair to them. So you're gonna have to find some means of transportation. And of course, when you plan yourself ahead, when you plan yourself well, things can be very good, because if maybe you're not paying a lot of bills, you can make sure that the loan you get, you can be able to pay it faster, because maybe you don't have a lot of bills. Maybe you're being hosted by your family, you're being hosted by your relatives and everything, and maybe you're not paying a lot of bills. You can be able to pay off that car very quickly. And of course, even those people who are here, maybe you're born here and you're staying with your parents, you can be able to pay your car very quickly, right? So I don't see the need of staying with a loan for a very long period of time. And maybe you're staying with your parents, and they are providing for everything. The only thing you are paying is for your car. So those are some of the things you do to get your first car in America. And like I said, you can get any car. Don't try to compare yourself with everybody else. Just be yourself. Maybe you came from Kenya or from any other country, and you don't want to just come here buying these big cars, trying to live a life that you cannot afford, right? I'm gonna talk about that in the next video. So if you have any questions, just let me know. So those are just some basic ways on how you can get a car, and it can be very important for you. Go to work and do everything that you need to do. Till next time, keep it discover with Pharrell. Thank you guys.